All right, and here is an update for Studio 01 Cell. We've got the Armor MB08 Armor Toys add-on kit for Studio 01 Cell here, and in that box you will find some frame pieces here, as well as an alternate robot mode head for Studio 01 Cell, and you can see where we're going with this. Also, if you want to just use the head by itself as a display piece with your Primus for whatever reason, you can do that. Just have it floating around there. Anyway, so how this works is, one, I've swapped out all the gray panels. I mentioned this in the 01 Cell video. There's orange and gray panels on the arms and shoulders. I've already swapped those out, and that makes the planet mode, as you spin it around, look more like this. So it's not quite as, that's not plugged in all the way, there we go. It's not, it loses the dark gray. It's got more orange on the sides, but it doesn't really look that bad. I've also added these 4 spikes around the centerpiece. I find that generally they're more trouble than they're worth during transformation, but if you want a little bit of extra detail here, you can put them there around those rings. But yeah, just spin them around, you can see there's some more orange there on his orb mode. But you can take these kits on this robot mode head, which has an opening mouth. There's a little panel on the back, and it's not even screwable. It just friction holds in. It holds 2 LR44 batteries. They go in there like that, and you want to have them so the flat side is facing this side of the chamber. Like, normally you would have the flat side on the spring and then the kind of bumped side on this tab, but you actually have to do it the other way here. And that will allow his dome light. You just click on this dome light to light up, as well as add some glowy effect to the robot mode eyes, which we'll show off later. But you can take this, and if this was just not doing it for you, this open maw here, you take these horns and fold them kind of around there, and there's a peg right here that just pegs right into the hole in there. And it may take a little bit of doing the first time, but you just line it up and push it right in there. And that kind of fills the gap. It'll help keep these from collapsing all the way, which is nice. And once they're closed, you can push that button and give them a glowy center orb there. And you can open it up a little bit. You don't have to have it all the way closed. If you want on the mouth, give them just slightly open. You can do that too, or however you want to do it. It also, what's cool about this is also, if you use the alternate maw piece that's also part of the stand here, it will glow through that as well. Just to give you an idea. And then you just gotta leave that on for the time being, but just push it again, it goes right off. Now these wing pieces plug in, they'll separate out like this, and you'll know which hinge folds up, because one piece will store in ring form, and there's a peg right here, down here on this part of the rim that pegs into that. It's not present on this side. That's one way to tell. But also, if you look at the hinges up here, one is flat with the surface and one kind of angles down. You see it's sitting a little lower. Put it in front of the dark so you can see where the flat part meets. And that one's just going to rotate up like that, and then you'll fold these 2 end pieces in. Do the same on this side. And you can take these and peg them together like this. Snap them together like that. And same here. There's like a latching mechanism there. You can see there's a slot right up here and then a tab. So you want to just kind of put those together and lock them together like that. And then there's these 2 tabs that go together. And then on the orb mode, let's see if we can't do this without dropping it. You can kind of hook it up over. It actually might help to, set this down here for a second, to take these apart first, plug them into the side pieces before we latch these all together. So let's go ahead and untab these. You can see they do tab together quite securely. Come on. because they do, one, these are on actual ratcheting hinges, which we'll see in robot mode a little better, but this is hinged on a ratcheting hinge. But these do peg in very securely to the side peg holes. So go ahead and plug one of these in here. And make sure to push it all the way in, like that. And then same on this side. Again, it's just another way the spikes get in the way here. I'm gonna go ahead and tab the bottom together first. If we can. The biggest issue with this is just the unwieldiness. So maybe if we just lay them down flat like this. Here we go. That'll give me the leverage I need. You just want to be careful because with all these spikes sticking out, you don't want to risk snapping anything while you do this. But go ahead and bring these around. Come on, hook together. There we go. And once that's together, you plug it in the hole in the bottom. And then up top, you can see there's a groove in the stand to allow for that to sit in there. Like that. I've seen some people get this almost flat secure on here, and maybe I'm just not using enough pressure, but I have not been able. Oh, there we go. Get that to peg super securely in there, but whatever. And come up here. This really doesn't want to go together easily. Come on, just peg together and we can get this done. There we go. And there you've got the planet with a ring. Like that. And again, you can, well, now I don't have a pokey tool. That was my, the wings were my pokey tool. There's a screwdriver here, hold on. There you go. There he is with his glowy orb mouth. And like I said, once you got the rings and everything on, the extra orange back here, it doesn't make a huge difference, but it does make a more coherent robot mode, and I think it's a fair trade-off here in planet mode. So there is Unicron, Destroyer of Worlds, Eater of Planets. And speaking of planets, as we showed up earlier, here he is real quick with Primus. If you want to have him coming for the Autobots' home world to destroy it. But yeah, a nice little addition there in planet mode. Again, this does not want to. Yeah, I'm not that sussed about it. I don't generally use them all. I think he looks fine without the small on. But if you want a more open, chompy mouth, you can use that. But I think especially once you get that once you get the head in there that can glow, and also kind of fill in some of the black empty space, even when you've got them open a little bit, I think that looks fine. So yeah, there is Planet Mode, and through the magical power of video, and here is his Robot Mode. Very large, very imposing, with some accoutrement there on his upper body. You can see the wings are now folded and split into their 3 prong configurations. They plug into the shoulders very securely, and this joint right here is even a ratchet, so I almost would have preferred a friction. You'd get a little bit more if it were a tight enough friction joint. I understand you want it to be secure. A tight friction joint would have been nice, because then you can get some more varied angles. Here it stops at various predetermined ratchet clicks, so you either have them kind of sitting out to the side like that, or angled up like that, or they end up coming on the wrong ratchet. It ends up kind of pumping into his leg, and this hinge does not allow for it to not bump into his leg. Now you can rotate it here at the peg, since it's just a peg, so you can have that angled back. But it's just one of those things that like would have been like you could get a little bit more minutia in the angles if you had non-ratchets. I get why they went with the ratchets, I do. But yeah, but that's the wings there, and then the his head. You can see it's look up and down, turn side to side. The mouth does open. You see his teeth. And then there's a button on the back that, let me go ahead and pop this back off again, because there's a button on the back here. This is where the batteries go. Like I said, 2 LR44s. And the black button back here. For Planet Mode, we use the button on top. Now we use this button back here, and it makes his eyes light up green. Gives him a nice little glowy effect. But what's cool is there's like a shiny metallic greenness to them, even without the light on. So they look good with, or even if you don't have the LED lit. I found a lot of toys that have the LEDs in the eyes either look really good with them lit, and then they look really bad with them off, or vice versa. They look okay with them off, but then for some reason, like the light either glows through part of the face, or it just looks off. This one does a really, really nice job of looking fantastic, both with the LED off with the shiny green, and then having them glow green with the LED on. Really, really great job there on that. And the horns. And if you want to, oh no, it's the end of the movie and his head's been blown off and is floating around Cybertron, you can do that. Put this pegs in right there. Quick size comparisons in Robot Mode. In this particular Robot Mode, here he is with Siege Leader Class Optimus. You can see comes up to about his knees. Back a little bit. Get a little better idea of how big he is. And then here he is, of course. You can't show him off. I don't have the old, actually I do have the old Armada Unicron, but it's somewhere up in the attic, and it is like 147 some odd degrees up there during the day, and I just haven't gotten up to the attic to, I'm not spending half an hour up there digging through boxes looking for Unicron. But here he is with Primus. Just to give you an idea of how big in Robot Mode he is. But yeah, a really fantastic set. The Owen Studio Cell base figure with the Armor Toys Armor MB-08 upgrade kit that gives you the other accessories there for the Cell figure from Studio 01. Makes a really fine, fantastic, boom, and she said, dropping the empty box on the floor. A nice display for your shelf. Very impressive. Like I said, the transformation, the more I do it, the easier it gets. Like it really is just a matter of knowing what you don't want to bend and just how everything fits together. And once you have that, it really isn't all that difficult of a transformation. The only part that I still have trouble with going in both directions is the tabbing the legs and untabbing the legs up in the chest when they're folded up. But very impressive, very cool. I've already got a special spot on the shelf picked out for him. He's actually been sitting there while I waited for the accessory kit, so I know he fits. But there is Studio 01 Cell complete with the Armor Toys AB-08, I think it's what MB-08 add-on kit. And also, just real quick, I forgot to do it during the video because I was so involved in playing with him and showing him off. But thank you very much to Show Z Store for getting me the Armor Toys add-on kit as well as the base Cell figure. I super appreciate it. It got here fast and quick and safe. And like I said, if you're looking for this guy, that's a great place to go get it. The link there is in the description. And enjoy him because he's a really cool figure. Again, thanks again to Show Z Store and Studio 01 and Armor Toys for the samples and parts and cool robot.